Hello indie game fans, indie games are back. After 2 weeks of very few new releases due to the Steam summer sale, developers are back in full force, so check out what's new in this normal size edition of indie gaming this week. Let's begin with Stickman Escape, a wonderfully animated adventure puzzle game that seems like a throwback to the Flash game era, having more than a little in common with the Henry Stickmin games, but does look to have new scenarios and influences, such as the fairly obvious Battle Royale reference right at the start. It does appear to be from a Chinese developer based on the contact email, the lack of a social media presence, and the rough translation on the store page, but I do have a soft spot for this era of Flash games, which makes it of interest to me. Going back a couple more time periods, Zodiac DX is a retro 8-bit action platformer that looks wonderful, even having a pseudo CRT look, as well as some nostalgia-inducing gameplay. There are 3 playable characters, but the action does include boss fights and even a card game, all of which adds to the variety, looking like it could be a hidden gem of the week.
What you looking at there?
Just pictures, friends from back home.
Nervous about where we're going?
No, I think it's exciting. Our old place reminds me too much of Mom, anyways.
Claire, I know my job has caused a lot of... What's going on?
See that planet out the window? We're being pulled towards it. Fast.
First things first, you have a reading on Claire.
Yep, the escape pod is only 4.3 miles away. I am awesome.
If you're at all interested in first-person puzzle games, you might want to keep an eye on Claire de Lune this week, one that's set in a grounded sci-fi universe where you need to explore a strange alien planet, repair your ship, and to find your missing crewmate.
So what's the best way to get to Claire?
Well, since the elevators are disabled, you're going to have to get a bit creative.
The nano gun is central to all of this, not quite a portal gun, but I do hope the puzzles are interesting, where on top of the first-person platforming sections, there are hacking and coding minigames, as well as dialogue options that let you affect the narrative.
Help me, please.
Looks alright visually, so it could be a good one.
I never should have left her.
It'll be alright. It's time to get Claire and get the hell out of here.
A pixel art title that I have my eye on makes it to launch with Guild of Darksteel, a game where you play as an immortal mercenary, having to unravel an evil plot as you delve underground beneath the city. There are some eldritch horrors thrown into the mix, where the pixel art look, while not my favourite style, does look interesting, with a number of progression systems in place to keep things moving. If you enjoyed the picks so far, make sure to smack that like button and subscribe if you have not. As a fan of action roguelites, the adorable Toroom caught my eye, getting a very strange Saturday release, but the minute-to-minute action does look good, with a simple but effective pixel art style. The description on the Steam store page is very generic, basically recycling all of the roguelite talking points without mentioning what's special or unique about this game, so indie developers take note. Not the best way to show off your game, but I do like the cutesy look, so it gets a pass. Let's kick off bigger games with Streets of Rage 4 Mr. X Nightmare, the paid DLC to a fan favourite title from 2020. I personally go way back with the series, playing countless hours of Streets of Rage 2, so I was pretty happy to see it make a comeback, but this new DLC adds 3 new playable characters, a new survival mode that does seem to have a roguelite perk system, as well as new moves, weapons and enemies, making it a no-brainer for fans of this game.
What's up, Doc?
There are 2 more bigger titles of interest, each being exclusive to a major console, beginning with Space Jam: A New Legacy. The video game tie-in to a highly anticipated movie, but to be honest, the cynic in me sees so much to be skeptical about that film. In a similar fashion, I'm equally skeptical about this tie-in game, which is somehow a beat-em-up brawler instead of the arcade basketball game which I loved, so hoo boy, let's see how this does. Another interesting looking bigger game is Where the Heart Leads, a narrative adventure game all about family, being an introspective title with choices to make, looking to be a real tearjerker of a game. Interestingly, it comes to us from Amateur Studio, a developer that is probably best known for having worked on the Xbox exclusive Recall, as well as porting various games, so it's interesting to see their next project at the very least. Smaller games begin with the roguelite shoot-em-up Akinofa, where you play as an undead fish and blast away at enemies, collecting currency for upgrades in every run, but the description does not mention procedural generation of levels, so it may not be a roguelite after all. It's of note since it's from developer Pixel Lantern, who previously made the roguelite platformer Bard's Gold, which I did do a Let's Play series of way back when, now unlisted, so if you're one of the OGs that remember those videos, drop a comment below. A wonderful pixel art action platformer from last year is Batbarian, Testament of the Primordials, impressing with the look and humor, getting Xbox and PlayStation versions this week. Similarly, the chaotic action title Bloodroots impressed in 2020, being a Hotline Miami-like experience, but where everything can be used as a weapon, and gets an Xbox version this week, where Game Pass holders rejoice since it will be on that service, so do give it a go if you have not played this. A simple looking title that looks neat is Demon Slayer Akagi, one that uses breakout-like mechanics in smacking a ball around, but is used in proper boss fights, so it's always interesting to see innovations like this. The developer of Everlasting Guild states that if you're into Doom, Fury, and Titan Souls, this game will fulfill your needs, so yes, I'm in. Looking to be a boss rush first-person shooter that looks pretty good. An underrated isometric pixel art RPG is Fates of Odd, one where casting magic spells does cost you some of your life, getting a Switch version this week. There will be a limited audience for Frame Game, since it's a multiplayer drawing title for up to 10 people that allows you to make animated images together, so I think that I found the next title that will appear on the YouTube channel Stumped.
I happen to be pretty good at taking things apart. Why not?
Highrisers is quite a curiosity, being a pixel art survival RPG where you control a team of 4 survivors in some sort of zombie apocalypse, having to scour and scavenge the multiple floors of skyscrapers while building some sort of base, having an interesting look, although I do wonder how this will play.
I haven't managed to find any spares in this tower. I'm gonna have to start making them from scratch.
If everyone could step back for one moment from any puerile passions for rocket engines and laser guns.
Our foes may be more numerous than the leaves on the tree, but fear not, for I've got everything I need with me.
Laser gun for the win! Woohoo! Pew, pew, pew.
A free pixel art action platformer is Holt, one that is set in a sci-fi universe but is relatively sparse on the details, but for free, why not check this out? If you enjoy tycoon games like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Indoorlands might be of interest, where everything is set indoors, which is a change, and I do wonder how deep the simulation goes with this. A no-brainer pick is Labyrinth City, Pierre the Maze Detective, a gorgeous hand-drawn adventure game that has sponsored a video on the channel before, getting a Switch version this week. An introspective first-person walking sim is Lost at Sea, one that is themed around life and death, looking to be another emotional journey to go on. One of the more straightforward titles of the week is Mrs.Cat In Mars, a precision platformer starring an adorable cat where it is up to you to make sure that nothing bad happens to our furry friend. One of the coolest things about indie games is how weird they can be, and while I'm not usually into the super experimental games, Projections did get my attention, looking rather wild and insane, but not as ugly as something like Cruelty Squad, making it your weird pick of the week. Oh, did I say weird? Well, another contender that is not as trippy but is no less weird is Raptor Boyfriend, a high school romance, a visual novel title where a teenage human girl moves into a community of cryptids but still has to attend high school there, looking to be for fans of the genre. Close your eyes or skip ahead if flashing lights are an issue, but an underrated shoot 'em up is Risk System from 2019, getting a Switch version this week. Another older title gets a Switch port this week with the classic turn-based roguelike Rogue Wizards, one that I remember enjoying in the early days of this channel, so I'm happy to see this being made available on more platforms. An interesting first-person builder is Stack Up or Dive Trying, where you need to build and stack everyday objects as the water level keeps rising, looking pretty frenetic and challenging but fun at the same time. The winner for the most PS1 looking game of the week is The Chameleon, a stealth action title where you're able to morph into your enemies to be used as you sneak around a mysterious facility. If you enjoy puzzle games, the sleek-looking Triversal will be of interest, looking pretty satisfying as these shapes get moved around. Rounding off smaller titles is Within the Blade, a stealth action title where you play as a ninja, originally released in 2019, but is a title that I missed even then, getting console versions this week.
What is art? Recently, I took a DNA test that tells me I'm a genius artist. What? Me? But hey, it's the year 2130. These tests are very precise.
Let's kick off the top 5 with Such Art Genius Artist Simulator, a first-person art sim which simply looks wonderful. I mentioned my liking for Passepartout the Starving Artist in one of the videos covering the Wholesome Direct, but this looks to be an even better version of that.
Robot artists. Exhibition time! Ooh, it's so exciting! Do they like it? I think they like it.
It is in first person with realistic painting tools, where you can paint the walls in addition to the canvases, and you can sell your art as well. It's set in the year 2130, where you're living in a space studio, but there appears to be some turmoil on planet Earth itself, with a robot uprising, as well as some crab people wanting to reclaim the salt water, so there's a dose of Papers, Please in this as well.
Maybe we can find that out together. What do you say?
Me being me, of course the pixel art adventure game World for Two makes the cut, one that simply wows with the art and use of reflections, although that seems to be taken to the extreme where all of the floors are reflective in this. Play as an android aiding a professor, trying to bring life back to Earth, which is on the brink of ecological collapse, having to collect, craft and create life itself, looking pretty wonderful and of interest. If you enjoy action platformers, Bullet Age will be one to watch, where you play as one of the Gunsword heroes, see what they did there, and fight for the resistance against an evil empire. You have access to both melee and ranged weapons, which provides variety, and there are RPG style upgrades as well, so it's not a straight action title. The emphasis seems to be on co-op, so grab a buddy and dive in. I mentioned Radio Viscera in one of my videos covering the Steam Next Festival, since it's a top-down shooter where you don't have any bullets, instead having to use a powerful compressed air gun and the environment to dispatch your enemies. While not a completely new idea, see Lost Potato for example, the environmental hazards and designs look neat here, which, combined with the low poly art style, does make this a looker. You're trying to escape from the compound of a cult, having to blast your way out in order to do so, where like Bloodroots covered earlier, does look to be a fantastic action game. One of the biggest titles of the month is Dream Engine's Nomad Cities, a survival factory builder that is one part Factorial, one part They Are Billions, and one part Airborne Kingdom. Pilot and land your flying city and get to work getting those production chains up and running, but be quick, since you will come under attack. Luckily, you do have towers to help out in the defense, where you're controlling a player avatar in the form of a little robot, although I do wonder what the gameplay structure and progression would be like. Still, it's a nice mix of genres that I love, taking the #1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos, and I will see you after the jump.